All right, everybody. Um, Thanks for coming today. I'm coming at you from dreary Austin, Texas. It's cold and rainy here, but that's what's going on. Thank you guys for making it out to the webinar. Today we're going to talk about easy order and your website. So a lot of times, people have a website and either they have an e-commerce solution on their website, or maybe they just have a simple website that doesn't have a lot of deep functionality, more like a brochure site. And most everybody who has that kind of site will have kind of a form for people to fill out, to contact them for orders or general questions, things like that. So those are the two different kinds of websites. And with easy order, you can really use it with either website. If you have a full e-commerce solution, that entails having somebody have search engine optimization in order to have people be able to find your website. And so, e-commerce is real cumbersome, and you have to keep up with a lot of the products that you put on the website if there even is a product database. And so a lot of people use easy order to kind of keep their best customers ordering from them. So you can set up your customers with customized order forms that only has the products they need on it, and you can use it in hand with any kind of website. It's just another marketing tool. Plus our quote system is something that you're not going to get out of a typical e-commerce website, things like that. So you really can use easy order with any kind of website, no matter what you have. It's just an extension of your marketing arm. So we're going to go over today how to use it with your website. I have a few examples. Let me get out of this PowerPoint slide. Okay, cool. And here's the examples that I have. This is an example, one of our subscribers. I helped him set this up. And this is his kind of just simple little website, but it's his business card online. And if you notice, he has the request a quote and the login, create account buttons on his order form. So already his simple website has a lot more functionality than most ink and toner dealers' websites that just have kind of a static form. Because when you click on his request a quote, link, it takes you to something like this. Now I have to do this in not his account because obviously I can't be putting quotes into his account and things. So as I do this, this is going to be going into a demo easy order account. Also, as I do this, a lot of back and forth customer / admin type of stuff. Sometimes the browsers can get a little wonky and log you out, or something weird happens. So just bear with me if anything happens, and we'll get through it. Okay, so like I said, if you come here, or for example, if you're a Cartridge World, they have a new website up, which is great. And we're integrated with Cartridge World's website. So we have these buttons here that go into the site. And these buttons basically link to pages like this. So from either here, where they click on the easy order quote from like a Cartridge World website, or something like this where he has a request a quote button on his website. Basically, it'll go to a page like this, and it'll have your branding and everything up here. So this is just kind of generic easy order branding. But essentially what this is a way for the customer to be able to get their own quotes from you without even talking to anybody. Because some people, there's the people who want to talk, and there's the people who want to just get it done and go on about their day. And so this area, we call it the customer created module, because it's a module of easy order where the customer can actually create their own content. This is one of those. So this is a custom created module. It's for a quote. And so by having this on your website, you now have what's called a lead capture system. So for people who come to your website like this or like this, and then they click on request a quote, even if they don't get finished with creating the quote, they still give you this information. So that's why we wanted to make it look really unintrusive, not invasive, easy to fill out, something that the customer would start to do. So, if you put your name here, Kat, and this is RemanResource, and I'm going to put in an email address I've never used before. So I'm going to go info@print.com. And then I'll put in a phone number, whatever the phone number is. So from this point, I'm going to let Terry in here. From this point, you are your customers coming to your website, whether it be this and clicking on request a quote, or coming to here and clicking on easy order quote from Cartridge World website. Basically, they get here and they fill this info out, and from the moment they click get started, it's going to save all this information and start a new quote for you in your quote system. So I'll show you how that works. So once the customer gives their basic information, now they can choose to add items by printer or add items by cartridge. So it's really easy, super easy choice here. You look at your printer, click add items by printer, you pick your manufacturer, whatever that would be. And again, try searching your model number. If your printer color is 2600, just type 2600. So we'll do that. The 2600 comes up for the customer, and they pick that and they save it. And now all these items come up, that are parts for that particular cartridge. So we have the black, the dual pack black, cyan, magenta. Now the customer doesn't really know what they want at this point, because they may not be familiar with a lot of this stuff. If they're of enough knowledge about their cartridges, they can delete an item that they don't want from that particular listing. If they don't want the parts, they can delete that off, but most likely your customer's just going to click send. So when you get this quote in your system, it'll have all of this stuff. Now, does it mean that the customer wants a quote on all of this stuff? Not necessarily. And I'll show you how to deal with that in just a minute. So here's the customer. They've added their items. They can continue to add items, when they're done. And then when they're finished, they click send to send the quote. So there is a space at the end of Easy Order in the settings where you can choose to let your customer know about other products that you have. So under the settings, it says, other services, and you can check or uncheck the boxes to see like what you offer. So if it's about, they want to know about buying or leasing new printers or copiers, managed print, office supplies, repairs, recycling programs, shredding, printer paper by the case. All of these things are toggle. That's not a word, toggleable. You can toggle them on and off in your settings. So have these all toggled to yes, I offer all these. If you don't offer some of these, you can just toggle on what you want. If they click yes to any of these, you'll get, and then click request service information, you'll get an email that says this customer wants information about this service. If they click that and send that. So the quote is sent, and the email of the quote is sent off to the customer. I can't check that because obviously I don't have that email address. Hopefully I didn't just send a weird quote to somebody. But anyway, so to check on this and see what happened now that we've submitted a quote from our online systems, whichever it is, I'm just going to go back into Easy Order like I am you guys. And so here's my quote. Here's my Easy Order control panel. This is the account that I was in, the demo account. And so I'm just going to manage quotes. So if you ever go into your quote system and you see a quote that you've never done anything to, you never talked to that person, you never went into their office, you never had an opportunity to get a quote, and a quote just shows up, and it has this icon on it, this little icon, it means that this was created from one of your websites or one of your landing pages, whether it be a Cartridge World or your own website. It's coming from the internet, and it's coming from someone that you didn't necessarily talk to. And so that's why it's a lead capture, because even if they got here and they didn't put in their printer information like I did, and they just bail after they click getting started, you're still capturing that information in your quote system. So all you have to do is click on the name for the quote, and here's the company name, the contact name, the phone number here, and then the email address. So all of this contact info is now sitting in your quote, and this is a warm lead that you can follow up on. So if this comes through and there are no printers down here, that means that the customer has not added a printer to the quote. Maybe they looked at the printer and they needed to go gather some information. Maybe they needed to go to lunch. Maybe they didn't have time to fill that out right now. Whatever it is, if you ever get a quote that you've never seen before, did my browser just freeze up? Oh, good. Yeah, so back to this. Sorry, my browser froze for just a second. So if you ever get to one of these quotes and you don't have anything here, but you have contact information, that is a hot lead. That is somebody who tried to go to your website and they tried to get a quote. They didn't necessarily have it, but you have all the information to contact them back, their phone number, their email, and you can just say, hey, I noticed that you started a quote with us online. If you just give me your printers, I'd be more than happy to finish it for you, make sure you have the best prices, send it back to you, and then I'll show you how to order from us. So that's what's going to happen when you have customers interacting with your website, when they're going through this or they're going through whatever you have on your website. This is really easy to get, by the way. If you have any website and there's some sort of request a quote button you can throw in there, it can be in the navigation, it can be its own button like this. Really, on a brochure website, whether you just talk about your business, these two links are the most important things because these are the links that can actually get you business from your website. And so it's really important if you have a website and you're using EasyOrder that you also use this. This is not going to be the bulk of your business, but this is a part where it can help you get leads. It can help with the customer who doesn't want to talk to anybody and they just want to get a quote quickly. And you'll see how you can go through this, and when the customer gets the quote, they'll eventually be able to order directly from that quote. So this is what was emailed out to the customer. I'll just preview it because I can't see the email. This is set up to be the simple quote. I'll turn it to the advanced quote and preview that. So this is the advanced quote. This is kind of what we recommend you use. You can turn this on in your settings to be the advanced quote permanently, is what we're showing in the system. Now, this quote is coming through, and all the cartridges on here have been priced by me before in my EasyOrder system, and so that's why you're seeing prices. If a customer requests a quote and you see checking for price here, that means that you've personally, in your EasyOrder account, because you have your own pricing database that's separate from everybody else, you have not priced this particular cartridge that the customer's trying to get a quote on. So if this happened, you would see checking for price next to each item, and then under your to-do list, which again, the to-do list, I can't stress this enough, is the place you want to go. I'm click home. The to-do list is where you want to go every day, at least once, if not twice a day, to check for anything that's going on in EasyOrder. So if you want to know what's going on with your system, a new customer sign up, quote pricing. This is an example of somebody sending in a quote and then items are not priced. So you can go back and fix this up. This is the quote, I believe, where items are not priced. Let's see. That's not the one. But anyway, if you go to your to-do list, you're going to see all the information that comes up. So if it lets you know that if anything on an order form or a quote needs pricing, quote pricing, order form pricing, this will all be here. Also, any of your orders that come through, a lot of people are, email security stepping up these days. So the reason we don't recommend you check email for all of your orders is because I, as a software developer, cannot control your email provider. Cartridge World has a notoriously bad one when it comes to support. So that's why we say come here and check for orders. When you check for orders here, not to get off the subject, but when you check for orders here, 100% of the time, in real time, all your orders will be here. You won't have to wait. Email sometimes has a latency, which means that it takes a while for it to come. So if you send an email and then you get it at 5 in the afternoon and you send it at 11 a.m., that's latency. Happens all the time with email. So that's why we suggest you come here, just because you'll never miss an order. I say check once in the morning, check once before cutoff time to order, and just make sure everything's in here, because like I said, although we try to get every single email to you with all the different email securities and updates and spams that are out there, sometimes you'll miss an order, and it's not anything we can do about it. But if you come here and check for orders twice a day, you'll always see everything in real time. But anyway, so if you haven't had an item priced on the quote, you're going to get a notification similar to this. These items have unpriced items in the order form, and then basically you just click on you can click anywhere, I believe. Oh, you got to click over here. Click on the quote pricing, and it'll take you to the quote area, and it'll even take you directly to the quote tool. Now I think I've edited this since, or else you would see, prices in there that are not priced. So, the question is, with anybody coming online, do you want to micromanage that process? So do you want to be notified every time that the customer asks for something and you haven't priced it in your easy order system? Because most likely you've priced a few things, but you haven't priced everything, especially not everything the customers are going to ask for. So how do you handle not having to micromanage each time the customer gets a quote from you? Well, you do that with our pricing by percentage. So we created this specifically for anybody coming from online. So whether it's this button or this button, and I didn't show you what this button does, but if you click on the other button, the create your account or login button, customers can log in here. This is your landing page for EasyOrder. If you can promote this on social media, you can promote this, whatever. It has the demo video right here that they can watch, and it has the username and password login. If customers are ever having trouble with their icon, you can always direct them to this page, and they can put in their username and password. That's not what EasyOrder is really designed for, but you can absolutely do this. This is the foolproof 100% way. If a customer is having problems with the desktop icon, just have them go here, have them bookmark that, and then have them put in their username and password. Lots of times a browser will now ask you if you want to save your username and password. You can do that if you want to. But the customer will always 100% be able to log in here. Some schools, government, IT, really strict IT companies, they have to do this because they don't want to have any software. They don't want to have any, although the thing we do is there's really no software involved. It's just a bookmark. Some people are really strict about that. So everybody can always log in here. And then for customers who are new that don't have an account, they can click here and register. And when they click on register, they will be able to fill out all their own information, add their printers, and then they essentially create their own EasyOrder account without talking to you. So again, you can promote this on social media. You could say something like, if I click on this demo, it's just going to pop it up, but I want you to know where it is so you can get to it if you want to. It depends on whether you're a Cartridge World or an independent, but independent is at CartridgeReorder.com/demo. So CartridgeReorder.com/demo, this is the
Whether you are a potential or existing customer, we value your time, and it's our job as your cartridge experts to make ordering ink and toner as quick and easy as possible. Unlike most other websites, we do all the work for you. When ordering for the first time,
the Cartridge Worlds have their own branded demo video, and that's at CartridgeWorldDemo.com. Okay, I'll have to look at the secure certificate for that. Anyway, we'll get that straightened out. But anyway, this is a Cartridge World branded.
With Cartridge World, whether you are a potential or existing customer, we value your time.
So it doesn't matter on which one you do, but you can promote this page and get people to come and sign up for their own order form here. So easy to do. So what I was talking about before I went on to that page was, okay, what if you don't want to micromanage all the requests for items that come in from the two online pieces? That's why I showed you that, because I wanted to show you the EasyOrder login and the EasyOrder quote, or the login, create account, and the request a quote. If stuff comes in here, you'll also get notifications that things aren't priced, because we're never going to show a price that you've not approved. Also, you want to be quick on this, because if you are micromanaging this and you're letting customers come here and get your quotes, and you've not priced an item on the system and they get a quote and they can't do anything with it, and it just says checking for price all over the quote, it's not really helping you because the customer can't complete the quote. So normally if you have, like, let's say this is the quote here, it's been sent, it had pricing on it, I'm going to preview it. Normally what the customer could do from here is, since they have prices on their quote, this will convert. So when you go through the process and you go, okay, this is your quote, this is how much you're going to save. Let me show you how to order from us, and they click this button, or if they just read this and they want to see what the show order from button is from getting a quote on their own, they can click on this link, and when they do, it's going to open up a web browser. It's going to convert this quote that you're looking at into a working order form with all these items on it with this price. And the customer can actually order directly from the quote. So from going from your website to request a quote to receiving the quote in their email, and if everything's priced, they can click on this button right here, show order form, turn their quote directly into an order form, and then place an order right from the quote. So it's a fully closed loop. If you have credit card processing, they can pay for it right away. So it's a fully closed loop on ordering, and the customer doesn't even have to talk to you. I remember when we first launched this with Cartridge World, we were at a national, no, we were at a national convention, it was a regional event on the East Coast, and we were like, we don't know if this is going to work, and some of the franchisees were like, I don't know if this is going to work, and somebody raised their hand. They were like, well, the master was in my store the other day, and an order came in with like 11 cartridges on it, and I didn't even speak to that person. They just found us through, the Cartridge World website, and clicked on get a quote. They got a quote, they got their items, and then they placed their order. Some customers are used to behaving like this. I mean, if you go to Amazon and everything else, they're used to checking out. They're used to, doing all the stuff and being able to get answers right away for things. They don't like to wait. And so if you do get requests for any of this stuff from a quote or from an order form and it's not priced, and I keep kind of tangenting and getting back to this, but you're going to want to make sure these are priced, which is where I'm going. So how do you do that? Do you have to go price everything in EasyOrder hoping that your customer doesn't ask for something strange? No, you don't. We've created an area, and I just was going back home. We've created an area down here in Manage Product Data. And these particular three things, set pricing by percentage, manage availability by manufacturer, and manage availability by product, these three items only deal with anybody coming from your website. So from here or here, or from here or here, this section of EasyOrder only deals with what we call customer created items. So let me stress that. These do not change your base EasyOrder prices. They do not change much for your catalog. I mean, you can hide things out of your catalog so you don't have to see it or deal with it. But this in particular only deals with people coming from your website. So what is set pricing by percentage? Set pricing by percentage is honestly what I would do if I was, still in the business selling ink and toner. I would have this set up on my website with a decent margin. You can set them differently. This one's set to any manufacturer of toner. So you set that price at 30% off retail. And then any manufacturer of ink, set this 30% off retail. Some people do 25 on this, on ink, and 30 on toner. You can really do whatever you want to. You can actually also get really detailed with it. So if you know that you can do 35 on HP, but you can only do 25 on Brother, you can add specific manufacturers of whatever you're looking at, and then give them a separate percentage off. And so this would, if I hit save to this, would mean anybody who came to my website and requested a Brother ink, they would get 25% off the retail price that we have in the system. And so you may be asking, well, where the heck do you get your retail prices from? I mean, that needs to be pretty correct if I'm going to price my products based off them. And as a lot of you guys know, we have built a tool that goes out and scrapes, for lack of a better term, Staples' website and pulls down the most up-to-date retail pricing once a week. Pardon me. So by having, the scraper, getting most of the products that the customers are going to order, you can be sure that, you can give a good discount here, and it'll be right across the board. If they pick something like, Guest Tetner, and you don't really deal with that, you may want to do what I'm about to show you, which is hide certain products so the customer doesn't see products that you don't offer. So one, I'm gonna cancel out of this. Setting pricing by percentage is great for not having to deal with notifications. So when a customer comes to your website, they get a quote or they sign up for an order form, their order forms will be priced based off of this percentage that you set. Some people set this higher than they would normally charge. So for example, if I only went to 25% off here and 25% off here, even 20% off on ink, whatever, if the customer gets a quote from you and you set your prices high on the quote, one, that keeps people from shopping you. So if they're going to get a quote from you just to shop you and find out your prices, they're going to be seeing higher prices. If it's a legit customer and they get a quote from you and you set this a little higher than you would normally charge, you have the opportunity, because you'll see the quote in your system. I mean, you'll basically be able to go here, go back to quotes, and you'll be able to look at the quote and see what was been quoted to them. And if these are higher than your normal price and the customer got this quote, it creates like a sales opportunity for you. You can click on edit and edit these items and come in here and change the price to what your true price would be. And you can save this and then you send it back to them, and you can put a little note in here. You can say, hey, I noticed you got an online quote from us. Usually our online prices are a little bit higher than our in-store prices or our new customer prices. So I just adjusted the prices on this quote for you, and then you set it to what you normally charge. And when you send this back to the customer, they think they're getting like a hookup or a good deal, or you're their buddy now. And so a lot of times they'll do business with you just based on that. I've seen people use that kind of trickery. It's not trickery, but it's marketing. It's like you go to Kohl's and you think you're saving all this money at Kohl's, and really they just jack up the price so high and tell you you're saving X amount of dollars when that's the price that they would charge for it anyway. But they make you feel good, and you remember that, and you go back to Kohl's because you think you're saving all this money, but really they've just overpriced it to charge you less to make you feel better about your purchase. So it's the same thing here, same mentality if you were to do that. But I'm not suggesting that you necessarily do that. You don't have to do it. It's up to you. But it's just kind of a best practice kind of tip and trick that I can share with you that other people have done. They've actually showed that to me. So they were able to show me a couple things about the system, and I like what they had to say. So I'm sharing it with you guys. So we talked about pricing by percentage, but now remember I said, what if they pick a Guest Tetner cartridge and they're like, oh, I don't carry Guest Tetner. Why is this even on the order form? So you can deal with these two products now. This will actually take products out of your normal ink and toner inventory in EasyOrder. So if you hide these manufacturers, you will also not see them when you put them on order forms. So I'm going to click here, and if you notice I have some disabled and some enabled. Basically, you could just click on here, and my Alexa is now talking to me, and I didn't say anything to her. So you just enable or disable them, and what this does is it makes sure that if it's disabled, the customer cannot pick from that list when they're adding things to the order form. So if you don't carry Hassler, if you don't carry Guest Tetner, you can just disable any of these guys, and then it will not even be a selection when it comes to the customer picking this. So easy peasy, hide whole manufacturers. That takes out big swatches of products so people aren't picking items that you don't carry. And then if you want to get really detailed about certain products that you don't carry, maybe it's like jumbo cartridges we have in here, or Micker, or maybe you just, like, for example, here's the best example is in our Xerox or in our HP products, we have a lot of Xerox because there are a lot of Xerox compatibles for HP. You can see that, this is an HP, it goes in an HP printer, and it's an HP cartridge type, but it really is a Xerox item. And so you can just select HP as the brand there, and then if you just type in Xerox and hit go, this pulls up all your Xerox products. You can see it's already been done in this account, but you can just check this box and it'll select all the items, and then you can select the state of disable, and it will disable all of the products. And all you have to do is, make this 50, and then you do it again, and now you're getting 50 at a time. So there's only 3 pages of it. You don't have to do this on this page, this page, this page, and you will have disabled. There's some right here that are not disabled. Now they are. You disabled all your Xerox branded products in your HP section. Sometimes a customer will get confused if they see Xerox and HP. And so by doing this, you're guaranteeing that the customer won't see any of these Xerox products in your HP listing. So when they get a quote, they won't see Xerox stuff. This is the biggest example of having to turn stuff off, but I mean, you can also click on, combo. You don't offer combo packs. Oh, where'd the combo go? Maybe I don't have it spelled like that. But anyway, you can search for different things, combo, jumbo, different things like that, and it'll come up, and you can disable those products if you want to. So that's the disabling products, dealing with all that kind of stuff. The last thing I want to go through, other than, now this is kind of moving away from the website thing, but I do want to talk about pricing. And so some of you guys have, a lot of people don't know this. This is kind of a newer thing that we did for 1 or 2 subscribers that really wanted this, but because we have a system that updates retail pricing every week from Staples, some of you guys over time, I mean, some of our subscribers have been with us over 10 years. Some of our subscribers have managed the retail prices themselves a long time ago. And now they want us to manage it now that we're doing the weekly update from Staples. So how do you revert your pricing back to where all of our pricing updates and your static price that you set however many years ago is not the retail price for your products in the system? So how you would do that is you go to manage your product pricing. You'll see here we put stuff in here, little warnings when your products are a little bit off. This is your retail prices above the market. So this is an example of an old price that's in here that is the retail price is higher than it currently is. You don't have to do anything with that. That's just for your knowledge, but you can keep that in there, or you can change it back, or you can update the retail price and click an update button and it'll update for you once you get in here. But if you did want to come in here and revert this back to our price, all you'd have to do is go into the edit screen for this particular cartridge. And when you see the retail price, if you just put an R in there, capital R, and you hit save, it's going to revert that price back to, and I don't know where it went. You know what, it may only work for the import-export, but it should revert the price back to our price. I see right there it didn't, but I'll have to figure out why it didn't. I know it does it with the import-export, so if you export your pricing and you put, let's say Reman Laser, priced items only, export that out. So put it into a spreadsheet, but you just save it and then open it right back up in Excel. This is going to show me that same list of priced items, and yeah, the X means we don't carry them, and Microsoft popping up stuff. But if you came in here and you put, here's that 12A I just did, if you put an R in there, and I'm just gonna export this, my entire list. I'm just gonna delete this here. I only want this one to go in. So I'll just delete everything. So you delete everything but the top row, which you have to have in there, that's the template. And then this is the product, again, under retail price. I'll put an R there to revert back. The Reman price should also be different, $69.99. So I'll save this as pricing and come back into here and go back, and we'll go import, choose the file, pricing, click open, and import that back in. It should now, see, here it is, $87.99. We'll have to change the OEM price on that because I didn't change that on the spreadsheet. So 89, whatever it was, $89.99. But anyway, you can see now that this price, I set it too high, this price has gone back to being controlled by us. So you can literally take ours and take them all through your OEM prices, import them back in. I guess it's only on the import export and not onesie twosie, which I'll get my guys to make sure if you put an R on the onesie twosie that it changes. But yeah, so that's how you revert back to our pricing for anything in your system. So you can export all that out, put R's in all the retail prices, import it back in, and now everything's being controlled on the retail side by EasyOrder. I mean, you're reverting back to letting us control that, and you don't have to worry about that. That's what we do that for, so you don't have to worry about retail prices changing. Do you have to go and spend all this time updating that? We don't want you to do that, and so we do it for you. So that's really all I have for you today. I just wanted to talk about, you know, what comes through from the website. I mean, you really want to be on top of this stuff, because if stuff comes in from your website and you let it go for a couple days and then you get back to them, or you know, you see it a few days later because you never go to the to-do list, you know, you're going to lose that customer, and that lead goes from a hot lead to a cold lead because you didn't act, you know, in time. And so it's really as important to not only understand what's coming from your website, but to always be checking your to-do list. This is the most important area of EasyOrder, because it tells you what's going on with your quotes, what status they're in, what you need to do. It tells you when a new order comes in. It tells you if there are issues with the order. If the customer contacts you through EasyOrder, it's going to come in through here. So if you're not checking this area, you're missing out on a lot of communications and a lot of different things. We have a notification when a customer changes their contact info. So let's say somebody who used to order toner cartridges is not there anymore, which happens all the time, and somebody new is ordering, and they just go, oh, that's Susie's old computer, that's where you're going to be working, and why don't you order a couple cartridges? She had some icon or something on the desktop for, you know, our cartridge dealer, and just click on that icon and all our stuff is in there, and then you can place an order. And so they go in there and they update their contact info. Well, if you're checking your notices, now you know that so-and-so at ABZ Design has a new person that's ordering, and you can reach out to that person and say, hey, this is Kat from, you know, whatever, and just want to let you know I'm going to take care of all your printing needs. Anything comes up with a printer or a cartridge that you need, just let me know. I'm your rep. Gives you a chance to introduce yourself. And you would never have known that somebody switched over unless you were checking these notifications and noticing that somebody new is there at the company that you've been working with. It also keeps them from it keeps them ordering from you, because a lot of times if a new person comes in and doesn't know where to go, they're just going to panic and go to their nearest big box store or whatever they're used to, rather than going through you guys. So another tool that we give you to make sure you're in front of your customers, order frequency. It's another big one that you want to check. Make sure if you see one of these that you at least follow up on that customer and you know, see why they're not ordering from you, stuff like that. Okay, anybody have any open questions before I conclude the webinar? I know we have a few people in here. If there's anything you guys want to talk about on our weekly webinars, just shoot me an email, support@RemanResource.com. Also, at the end of all our webinars, talk about the deal that we have, which I'll send you. I'm sure you guys have all gotten this because you have been in the last couple webinars. So anyway, preaching to the choir here, but if you haven't done this yet, go ahead and do it. You know, get 10% off at Liberty Laser Solutions. They're helping us spread the word about EasyOrder to their independent dealers. And with that, we're kind of partnered up with them. You guys get 10% off your entire first order with them. If you've never ordered with them before, you get 10% off an order. Terry, I think you could qualify for this big time. And if you get an order together, you know, try these guys out. They have great quality. We don't work with anybody who aren't great people. These are outstanding people, really value quality. And so you can get 10% off. I'll send you this link. I'll put it here in the chat. So if any of you guys want to take advantage of this right now, you can copy and paste this from the chat. Where's my chat? There it is. So here's the link in the chat. If you want to take your advantage of your 10% off, there's what you do. You just fill this out, and they'll contact you. So if you've never ordered from Liberty, any of you guys, please take advantage of this, because you know, the more that you guys do this, the more they help us. So really good stuff. All right, well, that's all for our webinar this week. I'll see you guys next week. Again, videos of this will go out to everybody that's registered for the webinar, and I hope you guys have a great Halloween week. All right, talk to you later. Bye.